Welcome back to the Staley and English Show featuring Coach Kurtz. I'm your man, Coach English. I'm here with Coach Staley and Coach Kurtz as usual, our road warrior, fresh off the plane. Glad for safe travels. We have a special guest in the building, in the juke, and we'll bring him in a little bit later. But as every week goes along, we have to check in with everybody. And first and foremost, we're going to check in with Josh, man. How'd the week treat you?
As always, God is good. Got to put him first. Unbelievable week. Great week. Very, very busy week. Had some very competitive, tough basketball games this week. Played a very, very good Ben Lippen team. Played a very, very good North Augusta team. So shout out to both of those programs, both of those coaches. John Combs over at Ben Lippen doing a tremendous job. Coaches doing a tremendous job at North Augusta. Shout out to them. And really good battle, good test for our guys. It's been a blessed week, man. Still excited about Willie Taggart out at Florida State. You know, hopefully he can finish this recruiting class strong for us. My Redskins won a game that didn't matter today. Right? Didn't matter at all. Even if we finish 8-8, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. So, I'm still suffering through that. But nonetheless, we're here, man. We're here. What's up with you, Papa Kurtz?
Yeah, things are good. Holiday season. Happy to have a few days off from school. Obviously, we're all still extremely busy with basketball season going on, but my Buffalo Bills with a big win. Coach Staley talking junk about how they're irrelevant, but they're right in the middle of the playoff hunt. So shout out to the Bills trying to make it back to the playoffs for the first time since 1999, I believe. And excited about our special guest and excited about talk about South Carolina basketball, which is about to be the center of high school hoops here this coming week with the Chick-fil-A Classic. So good week.
I said the Bills weren't relevant, though.
We can go back to the archives for sure.
I don't remember saying the Bills weren't relevant, but y'all always putting words in my mouth, man. I'm not.
Don't start that, man.
I'm not here.
We have to go there.
We don't even bring up the Giants. Now, if I would have said anybody wasn't relevant this season, it would have been the Giants.
When was the last time that the Redskins won a Super Bowl?
91.
Yeah, okay, that was a very long time ago.
I
wasn't even in high school yet.
You asked me and I answered.
But you weren't even in high school yet.
You don't know when I was in high school.
You wasn't in high school yet.
You don't know when I was in. You don't know when I was in high school.
Was that the last time they won a playoff game? No, they're not Dallas. I'm sorry. Dallas don't win playoff games. I'm sorry.
No, that's not the last time.
I can at least give you that.
Yeah, that's not the last time they won a playoff game. I can at least give you that. I'm
just saying. You just be throwing shots all over the place, and I don't know if I really appreciate that.
You too sensitive, man.
I am not sensitive.
I tried to say a couple weeks ago we need to put a Twitter poll on. Is Coach Staley too hard on Coach English or what?
No.
Let the people vote.
We're not doing that.
Listen, man. This is a podcast.
Is Coach Staley too hard on Coach English, or is Coach English too sensitive? That is the poll question.
The crux of them. But the truth is, he's sensitive. Like, I'm not here to babysit you, man. Everything I'm going to say is not going to make you feel good. It's to make you better. And if you're sensitive, you're sensitive. If the Giants suck, they suck. I don't want to hear all that stuff, man. Okay? All right.
All I got to say is you always got something to say. It's always something with you. Like, you come for me every time. Micah could be here. Y'all don't have a single conversation over that way.
Come for you, though, dog. I just finished talking about how Micah's been so mean to me this week.
That wasn't on air. Like, as far as our listeners know.
Okay, listeners.
No. We don't have to bring all
not
that
being sensitive. Not being sensitive like Coach English. Coach Kurtz was extremely mean this week.
Oh my God!
All right, there you go. Can we introduce the?
What do we got? The Oprah show? Or we
I guess
about
so.
I
don't know what it is.
Dr. Phil talks about feelings, not Oprah.
Okay. All right. Well, my week was okay.
Daily View.
I'm saying he said, "You get a pacifier. You get a pacifier."
Well, before we introduce the special guest, I had a long week myself, man. Just blessed to be here. Another week in the juke, man. Trying to put down another show for you guys, man. We 800 episodes, 800 downloads in. About to reach 1,000, well on the way, and that's crazy for the short period of time in which we've been doing it. I think that the three of us are extremely blessed to even remotely continue to keep doing this. We make it happen every week. So I'm going to let Josh introduce our special guest.
Well, the special guest is someone very dear to me. I've known him for a very long time now. He's getting old. I met him when he was a little youngster in high school. I'm going to let him introduce his own name because I don't like pacifying people.
Why'd you look over here though? Like, why didn't you look at me just now?
Go ahead, bro.
I didn't know. Like, what you look at me
K-Lou, man, let K-Lou talk, man.
What you look at me for though? Like, I don't know.
I just think of pacifiers when I see you.
See.
Go ahead, though.
That's the problem.
Shout out to our special guest. Let me introduce
That's the
yourself.
problem we have on this show. Josh. That's the problem we have on
I
this
just
show.
want the special guest to introduce
I
himself.
think next week is the English and Kurtz show. How about that?
Do what you got to do, man.
How about that?
Do what you got to do. I got some Similac in the back, too, for the babies.
Well, listen, everyone. I can't stop laughing with my big brothers up here. But good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Lewis, a.k.a. K-Lou, better known as Mr. Heavy Handles of Heavy Handle Hoops. Just an independent consultant out here, just grinding in this basketball world. Love the game so much, I have to do something with it. Can't just be stagnant. So just very humbled to be on the show with you guys this evening. And thank you guys for the opportunity to talk some basketball with you all.
Oh, man. Kev, really appreciate you being here. But, this is a big-time show. We're going to really talk about South Carolina hoops. We're gonna get into the boys' side this show, next show, because I really believe in being fair, man. We want to get into the young ladies' side because it is some really good female ballers, but it's just so much. We won't be able to get all that in a 45 to 50-minute show. Last thing I'm going to say that we're going to get back on task. Last thing I'm going to say. No, this is serious. Okay, I'm looking at the tweet. Pre-production. Obviously, Coach English, you took that picture because I saw you when you did it. Why aren't you in the picture?
Because I'm taking the picture.
You're taking the picture, right, but you see that I need a haircut. I wasn't prepared for the picture. Look at that, man.
Off guard for a reason. Like,
Dog, off guard. Off guards aren't real. Whoever came up with off guard was lying. They be like, take the picture while I'm not looking.
Were you on guard just now?
No, I need a haircut, and I don't appreciate. It's a podcast, not look at me cast when I need a haircut.
I'm just saying, man. People like to see stuff like that.
All right, dog.
Stay playing me out.
Just
That's
next
all
time,
I'm
get
saying.
some permission. Get some permission next time. All right, let's get this thing cranked up. I'm going to go. South Carolina basketball, the last several years, has been growing at a rapid rate. It's been growing from the perspective of we really have some really good teams. We have some really good teams, exceptional teams, and we and some very, very exceptional individual talent has grown. I've seen coaches take their programs to the next level as they've grown in their craft. And I've just seen the overall brand quality and, just essence of basketball in the state of South Carolina has grown. As you know, South Carolina is a football first state, like a lot of states in the South. Football is great in the South. But South Carolina is really starting to turn the corner as far as basketball and the product that we're putting out. I'm gonna let some of you guys spit on some of that. What you think?
Man, I mean, it showed. I mean, it's on paper, it's on the internet that South Carolina basketball is no joke. I mean, just looking at class of 2019, there's 3 players in the top 50.
Mm-hmm.
3 players: DJ Burns, Christian Brown, Juwan Gary in the top 50, and then obviously you have the internet sensation, Zion Williams in the class of 2018, ranked number 2 in the country, and then just like I said in the intro, I mean, we're about to have, the the biggest tournament in the nation in high school basketball is about to be in Columbia, South Carolina this weekend with the Chick-fil-A Classic with 8 national teams, another local, I guess, what's it called? They got the national bracket, they got the American bracket. Is that all South Carolina teams, or is that?
No, it's teams from all over. It's
a little bit more local, and then obviously the challenge as well. I mean, that tournament is, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, is the most impressive high school basketball tournament in the country this entire year, not just this weekend, for the entire year. So it is definitely a testament to what's going on in South Carolina with high school basketball for sure.
And that's not even to mention the beach ball that's going to occur, after Christmas. So South Carolina, and being that we're not the most populated state, the sheer fact that to have 3 kids in their respective class in the top 50. So like I said, the quality of the brand is really increasing. Kids are getting better at a rapid rate. But go ahead, Kev.
2 kids playing at UNC.
Right. It's looking great. It's looking great.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. And to piggyback off of you guys from a talent perspective in South Carolina, I mean, we got guys right now in college as freshmen, starting for good programs.
Jordan Davis has been He's starting out there at Dayton. James Reese is at Buffalo, starting now.
18 last week.
Yeah. So go ahead, Kel. I mean, cut you off, brother.
Absolutely. No, you're fine. And we got, like I said, we got John Morant over at Murray State. They're doing a lot of good things, and of course with Jaleel Felton and Seven Woods, representing in their respective Hammond High School and Great Collegiate by way of Mullins at UNC. South Carolina has become one of the great states of producing some pretty good talent, especially within the past 2, 3, maybe 4 years.
Yeah. Things have really turned up, man, and took a turn for the better. Let's talk about some of the top high school teams we've seen thus far. Not even that we've seen them, that we've heard about, that we've known. One team that I'm going to talk about that I think that's probably one of the most well-coached teams and programs I've seen in the last couple of years is Dorman. Right now, Dorman is ranked number 1 in 5A. That's the largest classification in the state of South Carolina, if you didn't know. And they played in the Bojangles. I didn't get to see all of their game, didn't get to see much of their game at the Bojangles. They played a very good Sumter team who's also ranked in the top 10 in 5A boys. But I was able to see them play, and I'm going to talk about this squad also, a very, very good Wilson team who's ranked number 1 in 4A. And the game went into overtime. It was an ESPN Instant Classic. But Dorman was able to squeeze out the victory. But to talk about Dorman is probably one of the better coach teams I've seen in a while as far as high school basketball. They have very good players. Coach Ryan out there with Dorman, they run very good sets. They have size. The big kid Gabe does a tremendous job in protecting the paint. The young point guard, the sophomore, help me out with his name. Miles Tate is probably they start 2 young guards in backcourt. I know Miles Tate is one, and they have the kid number 11, sophomore, who isn't bad. His name doesn't jump to me right now at the moment, but Miles Tate is very, very exceptional on that squad. He's just a sophomore. We played him back in 2 years ago when he was an 8th grader. He was an 8th grader on varsity 2 years ago. We played him in a tournament at North Myrtle Beach, and we were able to. We were lucky to come out of that game with a victory. But I saw him, and I was like, "Yo, that kid's going to be special. He's going to be really good." And darn if he was not as good as advertised against a very, very good Wilson team. We're talking about a sophomore playing against upper level guards for Wilson. Wilson has Alex Caldwell, who's probably been one of the better point guards in the state of South Carolina the last 3, if not 4 years, because he started on varsity as a freshman, and he went toe-to-toe with this guy, even hit the shot, the game-tying shot to send it into overtime. So Dorman is probably one of the They won the state championship last year. Coming off state championship, beat a very, very good, well-coached Blythewood team. Coach Zeke Washington out there at Blythewood, shout out to him. And you know, that Dorman team, I was really, really impressed with them after watching them play.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Watching that game yesterday, it was a very exciting game. Just like Coach said, two well-coached teams, two top teams within their own classes. Very, very, very physical game, and especially with Miles Tate and Alex Caldwell going head-to-head at the point guard position. It was a very, very, very emotional game for both teams' perspectives. Starting off, Wilson started off real hot, especially from the perimeter. And it just seems like throughout the game, Dorman just continued to just push forward. And the more they pushed forward, going into the fourth, being down by 3 with about 5 seconds to go, with Miles Tate hitting that 3 to take it into overtime. It was a really good game. Very good chess match going down the stretch between coaches. So was just excited to watch that game last night, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, shout out to Coach McQueen out there at Wilson. He's doing a tremendous job. Another school that's been intriguing this year, also ranked in the top 10 by the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association, is Conway High. Conway has another high-profile player in Jimmy Nichols, 6'8" wing/forward, who's already committed. I don't know, did he sign with Providence in the early signing period? I know he's committed. I think he signed.
I think he signed.
Okay, I think he signed. Jimmy Nichols, heading out to Providence to play in the Big East, that extremely tough league. These guys at Conway are undefeated. Coach is doing a tremendous job out there, and I was like, man, this Conway team is not going to be able to sneak up on anyone. They have a high-profile player, really good job coaching. They're undefeated right now, so you should look out for them. They're probably their first tournament. They're probably going to be playing in the Carolina Forest Panther Classic out at Myrtle Beach. I think they're going to be going up against Carver's Bay in that, but I was really, really impressed with that Conway team also. I think they're really good. I think they did a really good job.
And oddly enough, that's going to be a pretty good matchup against Carver's Bay. They're an undefeated 2A team that is extremely well coached by my man Mez out there. Shouts out to Coach Mez and what he's been able to accomplish. They are a very good. I think they're ranked number 2 right now in 2A. And when he gets those guys to believe in what they're doing and to really, really play hard. I had an opportunity to see them over the summer, and they gave everybody a run for their money. And they played a very tough summer schedule. And I know they had a very tough scrimmage schedule. And what's intriguing about Carver's Bay is they don't have any high-profile kids, and they are a football school. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, they're a football school. But Mez always seems to have them in the running. And I think that's going to be a really, really good game between Conway and Carver's Bay.
Yeah, I can agree with that. When you talk about not having high-ranked players on that team, I will say this. They do have a high-octane offense.
Yeah.
That is a wicked offense. They run the floor. They pass. They cut. They do a good job in their offensive sets. So that game will definitely be an exciting one between Conway and Carver's Bay.
Yeah. A couple more teams in 5A that are really good. I was able to see Nation 4 play. They lost a tough one to Hartsville. Hartsville got up on them. That's your squad, Coach English. You guys look good out there. I know you don't want to talk about your own team, but I really like. We're going to talk about some of your players on the flip side, but I really like the way your squad looked. Y'all beat a very, very good, well-coached Nations 4 team. Coach Jared Adams out there at Nations 4. This is, I think, maybe his third year out there now. Second or third year. He was the girls' coach at North Augusta for a long time before him and his family moved out of state. Now they're back. He's doing a good job. Able to see Blythewood. Again, Coach Zeke Washington doing a great job.
They always going to be in
Trey Jackson, man,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was lighting it up, man. The kid Robert out there is doing a tremendous job. Sumter's loaded with talent. So that 5A boys is pretty stacked, man. We look at this 4A boys. We're not going to probably talk detail about every team because we got to get – we want to talk about the players. But like I said, we talked about Wilson some. Not a big drop-off from last year.
No, I think the issue that they're going to come across with Wilson, the issue that's going to come across with Wilson, and they are a well-coached team. Derek McQueen does a great job of having them guys prepared and having them ready to go. You want to see a little bit more toughness from their inside guys. But I think that they have the skill set to be very, very formidable for anybody. Man, they could shoot that outside shot with anybody. You got Alex Caldwell who can dribble and pull up on a stop of a dime. And a very, very underrated thing that they have, component or commodity. A very underrated commodity that they have is Darius Rhodes. Let me tell you something about Darius Rhodes. Darius Rhodes is a dog. He's an offensive machine. If he wants to put up 30, 40, he can put it up. Darius just does whatever's asked of him. He's a very coachable kid, great kid. He transferred from us to them. I still love him to death. He is once they realize how to fit him into that, they are going to be crazy because when you look at it, even late down the stretch, man, they were able to put it in his hands. And he was able to seal it with a couple of clutch free throws because, big games kind of don't faze him. He's a very even-keeled kid. Then they got the big kid inside. I forget what his name is.
Jemonte Williams.
Jamonte, but the other kid, the one that signed with Coker.
Number 23.
Yeah, number 23. What's his name? Jesus, it escapes me. Kid that got the good touch around the basket. It's about 6'7", 6'8".
Transferred in from Marion?
Yeah, transferred in from Marion.
Okay, yeah.
Got a great touch around the basket. Can step outside, hit the short jump shot. Can even hit the three. I seen him against Darlington, and he hit about 2 threes against Darlington.
Ryan, his name is Ryan Carfley.
Yeah, Ryan. Ryan. There you go.
Yeah,
very skilled. Then you got Jamonte Williams, who's somewhat of a dog, and then they have Allen Williamson, who can shoot the leather off the ball. So you kind of got to defend him. You got to defend them for 94 feet, and I saw Darlington play against them. It was a double overtime game, and that's what Darlington did. They just defended them for 94 feet, man. The man manned up and just was like, "Listen, y'all gonna have to go to the basket because we're not."
Yeah, they're a really good team.
And they're really good. Wilson's a very good.
I like their post players. I like big kid Williams, Jamonte Williams. I definitely like Carfley. I think those guys are really good. I was real impressed with them when I saw them Saturday night battling it out with Dorman because Dorman's no slouch themselves.
Yeah, no.
They're very physical. They're very big. I think Jamonte held his own and made some really, really big baskets down the stretch.
And in that game, the thing that stood out to me the most about that game was you never saw panic in Dorman. Like they were down 6 with seconds.
Yeah, they figured
you just never saw panic. Even when the kid hit that shot to tie it up, there was no panic. Like you almost knew. Matter of fact, Josh, we were sitting next to each other and you said, "Watch, it's going to be a 3-pointer and an and one."
Yeah, I was trying to use my Cleo psychic ability. Call me now.
And he came off that screen, dribble, and pulled up probably about 2 steps outside the 3 and kissed that thing off the glass, and it was money.
Yeah, he knocked it down,
man. He knocked it down, so that was a very good game.
Aiken boys are doing really, really good in 4A this year also. Coach Darius Jackson is doing a tremendous job. Another coach just getting his program going. He took over maybe 4 years ago, maybe even 2 or 3. He hasn't been there very long. The turnaround that he's gotten in such a short amount of time is pretty amazing. He got his guys are ranked number 2 in the state in 4A. A bunch of very good college prospects on that team, and I think he has some D1 and some D2 guys. So Coach Jackson's doing a very, very good job out there at Aiken High. Southside boys, they're ranked number 1 in 3A boys right now. Haven't seen them a whole lot this year, but that's up around your way, Kev. You know anything about them?
Well, Southside, they have history. I mean, they've been in the Greenville area. They are a basketball powerhouse in Greenville. It's almost asinine to think that Southside would not be a contender in whichever class they play, whether it's 3A, whether it's 4A, whether it's 2A, it doesn't matter. Just because of how well coached they are, the great talent that they bring up. Some of the kids I know from elementary school, they are brought up in the system. They buy into the system and they embrace the system. So Southside, once again, powerhouse in 3A.
I know they're undefeated right now. I think they're sitting on 4-0 if I'm not mistaken. So they're doing a tremendous job out there. 2A boys, a very, very intriguing team that people tend to love to hate. It's great collegiate. Personally, I have no problem with the program. I mean,
shout out to Dion.
Shout out to Dion.
Shout out to Dion.
He's got some an accumulation of some very good players out there at Gray, and a lot of people aren't sprinting to play those guys. The new rankings came out, and right now those guys are number 1 and in the state of South Carolina for their respected classification, and they played against a very, very good Cardinal Newman team this past weekend. In the event, Cardinal Newman put together an unbelievable event. It was a great event, more great competition out there. But Cardinal Newman, they went toe-to-toe and wound up winning a very close game against Cardinal Newman. But led by Jawan, Gary, and those guys, and the likes of Tommy Bruner and Khalil and Big Mike. That squad. Squad is very, very talented. They're deep. They're well coached. Like I said, Coach Dion is doing an unbelievable job out there with his squad. Coach Dion Bethay. If that's his last name, right?
Yeah.
Coach Dion Bethay, if I'm not mistaken, is doing such a tremendous job out there at Gray, and they're winning ball games. Last year, they were 1 game away from the state championship. They lost to a perennial powerhouse in Keenan. Coach Zach Norris had his guys ready, and Gray couldn't get past those guys for that game. Coach Zach Norris put a great game plan together and beat those guys. Everybody thought Gray was going to win it. They had Jalik Felton transferred in, and they were looking good. But Gray is extremely talented. Extremely talented, man. A really, really good group of guys. They the one thing I've been paying attention to Coach Bethay's interviews. I've been paying attention to him. He's been focusing on his guys playing together and playing as a team and not playing as individuals, and that it's worked out for them. They've played in an event out there in Chicago, did a really good job. They had a really good showing in the Bojangles Bash. So yeah, Gray's one to be reckoned with. A ton of talent, ton of D1 talent. College coaches stay in their gym, so they're doing a tremendous job out there at Gray.
Hey, you need to just for a second, I want to bring up a couple teams there in 2A. First off, Calhoun County put up 100 last night. Zam is continuing his
he always
his
puts
runs
up 100. That's what he does.
His runs of. And then there's another intriguing team that a lot of people aren't really saying anything about, but Lee Central. They swept Sumter. They beat them the first time by 12, and then they beat them last night by 1. They beat Chesterfield by 37. These kids are balling. Mm-hmm. It is amazing to see, to watch their scores. I think they're 7-2 currently. Their only 2 losses are to Lakewood, a very good Lakewood team. But they are balling, and they are not afraid of anything. I think they got an 8th grader on that team that's starting on varsity, and they got another kid that's a freshman at the guard position, and they are not afraid of anything.
And it's crazy, man. It goes to show you, because here you go, you got Lee Central beating Sumter.
Yeah.
Then they lose to Lakewood, but then Sumter beats Lakewood.
Yeah.
So and I tell young people all the time, especially this year, this is a very balanced year. anybody can get beaten any given night. Like, no one is just out there and it's like, yo, we're not going to lose and there's nothing you can do about it. You can get beaten any given night in the state of South Carolina, and that's another testament of how much of the quality of basketball has improved in the state of South Carolina. You know, it's starting to resemble the metropolitan areas of the Atlantas in Georgia, and how North Carolina has been a mecca for such a long time. You know, these states, anybody can get beaten any given night. So, yeah, things are looking good. It's some tough teams. You still got Keenan.
Yeah, still
you
got
know,
Keenan, yeah.
you know they got one of the better players in the state, in Dylan Jones. You know, it's a really, really, really tough state, man, in the state of South Carolina right now, and basketball is really, really doing well.
Yeah. And just to add one more team in 2A, and of course no one is talking about this team, but looking at King Street High School, that's in my area. I'm from the Deepwood country, so I know a lot of those guys down there. But they got two guys, Kobe Fulton, 6'3" point guard, and Quentin Alston. You may know him from football, big time football guy down there. But Quentin Alston, you know, he's a 6'4" wing guy. Those guys are playing extremely well for King Street right now. So shout out to those guys down there, down in 2A, trying to make a little bit of noise down there in the country.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just so tough, man. 1A boys basketball, according to the new Coach Association poll, you know, got Hemingway ranked number 1. Williston Elko 2, Hunter Kennard Tyler 3. That Hunter Kennard Tyler team, you know, my old high school, you know, they have some intriguing talent on that team. Very intriguing talent. You got Great Falls at 4. Then rounding out the top 5 is Coach Artis Coulter and those guys down at Bethune-Bowman out in Orangeburg County.
I just want to give some shouts out to Artis with the job that he's done with that program. I mean, y'all had a very what would be the word I would use for your jamboree game? Very contentious, volatile jamboree game. But it was interesting because, and I'm gonna tell you why. You know, Josh, you run an A1 class program, and everybody knows when AC Flora walks in the gym, it's not how much, you know. It's not, people aren't coming to see if you win or lose. They're coming to see how much you win by. And those guys from Bethune-Bowman, Artis hasn't believing that they can win every game. And those guys came to play that night, and it shows they've taken on Artis's little swagger, I guess.
Yeah, well, he had those guys revved up, man, and they played hard, and it goes to show that's why they made it to the Lower State Championship last year out there at Bethune-Bowman. So shout out to Coach Coulter, man.
I had a chance to go to school with Coach Coulter, man, and for about a year, and he's the type of guy that even if he playing checkers, he want to beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. He's a very
always animated, revved up
guy.
And very, very competitive, and he's done a great job. The Hunter Kennard Tyler team, very talented. Got the long kid, Marlo, that plays the point. He's about 6'4", 6'5", very athletic. Can put the ball on the floor. And then they got that, I don't even know this kid's name. I just know his number 24. That kid could jump and sit on the rim.
I think his last name is James.
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic as crap. And then I'm going to tell you what, they got a tough region because Williston Elko's in that region. Hunter Kennard Tyler's in that region.
Yeah.
Ridge Spring Bonetta is in that region. So, I mean, that is a tough region. And I just think that. And then in the lower states, you're looking at Hemingway, Bethune-Bowman, Baptist Hill, Hanahan, Pumperco. That is a tough, it's not, each class, I believe, right now has a tough role. Whoever makes it out deserves it.
Louisville is very tough too. Louisville is a real tough team.
It's just tough, man. But let's get to the meat and the spaghetti right here. Let's talk about some of the top individual talents that we have in this state of South Carolina. We have some very good players. I'm gonna look at the class 2018, and I'm gonna jump out there and just talk about the guy a lot of people have ranked number 1 in that class on our list in the state of South Carolina is Zion Williamson. Some people say he's 6'7", some say he's only 6'5", and I don't care what he is. At the end of the day, he is a freak of nature. He turned into an internet sensation.
Drake's boy.
You know, and oh yeah, Drake did have on the Zion Williamson jersey.
They text.
They text.
Right there.
It's not very manly, but all right.
No, you text me.
I'm just kidding,
You
Drake.
were texting me.
Dog, I'm just kidding, dog. You know what, dog? You know what? I'm sorry. Let me tighten back up. We're not allowed to laugh on this podcast. Yes, text Drake and but Zion is unbelievable, man. Unbelievable talent. I think that number one ranking in the state is deserved. He has been playing the last couple of games, you know, because of a sore foot. They say he's day to day right now. So hopefully he hurries up and get healthy because, you know, I know the fans want to see him on the court. You know, they want to see him play. So hopefully he gets back out there and gets going. Aaron Naismith, what do you think about him, Kev?
Oh, Aaron Naismith, really good player. Haven't really looked into Aaron as much. Of course, compared to Zion Williamson, but Aaron has a really nice touch, real athletic, very skilled. I like what he's from what I've seen. I like what he's doing out there, Port God, and of course him being has he signed his letter of intent?
He's going to Vanderbilt. Yeah, he's going to Vanderbilt. I think he's exceptional. I've seen him in action. Seen him play up close. Handle the ball well enough to be a point guard. I think he's tough. His basketball IQ is extremely high, and he's a tremendous young man. You know, very, very stand-up guy, great kid. So I think I think Porter God, you know, has a jewel in him, and they probably want to get the most out of him before he head out and take off for Vanderbilt. A kid on his 18 list that's very, very intriguing to me who has not committed and does. I mean, his traffic is picking up, but it's the Robert Braswell kid over at Blythewood High School. He's about a 6'8", 6'7", some people say 6'9" kid. He can shoot the three. He can slash. I know from up close and personal playing him in that scrimmage last night that he will dunk on you. Not last night, but last season. He will dunk on you. And super athletic. I like him a lot. I think he has a very unique game because he's long enough to defend multiple positions, but he's skilled enough where he's going to be a mismatch any given night in multiple positions on the floor. But I think Robert, even though he hasn't committed or signed anywhere, his traffic is picking up. I know some schools were really starting to get interested in him, like the Temples and, you know, some in-state schools. So hopefully College of Charleston, I think, was looking at him. Hopefully things get going with Robert and, you know, he knows exactly where he's going to be going. And I'm gonna tell you who else I really, really like on this 2018 list that a ton of people aren't really talking about because he's some people have already labeled him as a football guy, and that's Shaquan. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Shaq Davis out at Somerville. You know, they're saying he's going to school for football, but it is so exciting to watch him on the court, man. He's so athletic. He's explosive up and down. He's explosive east to west, jumping forward. And we were able to play against them this summer out at a shootout over at Collins County with Coach Jacob Smith and those guys. And I was very, very impressed with his motor, with his mindset, his mentality. He's very athletic, about 6'5", 6'6" kid. And, man, boy, it was very difficult keeping him off the glass because he was so athletic, man, so athletic. Anybody on that list, Coach English, that's intriguing to you?
Yeah. Down there on, around number 20 is one of your guys. I know you'll never bring up any of your guys, but Demonte Brown. I hope I say his name right. Bam.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Listen, he is a freak of like. I watched the little thing on Twitter the other day where he two-hand mashes on somebody, and then the very next play blocks the shot into the student section. I mean, the kid is athletic. He can step outside and shoot a little bit. He can put the ball on the floor. a little bit, and for his size and his athleticism, he isn't afraid of anything. He will put that ball down your throat. The thing you try to tell your kids, I always tell my kids, put the ball and the person in the rim. You ain't never got to tell Bam that. He's got that in his head. And the story you told me about the game the other night where somebody else has the rebound in their hands, he comes over the top, takes it out of their hands while in the air, and then two-hand does. I mean, the kid is an athletic freak, man, and I don't think it's enough pub around him and what he can do. And I know you guys see it every day. I know Coach Kurtz, I'm pretty sure he's a freak in the weight room because he's strong as crap. Like, he walks in the gym. I don't know how y'all find a jersey to fit him. Because, like, I don't know. That must
Kids like wearing small uniforms nowadays anyway.
It looks like the seams are about to bust on his jersey. I don't even know what y'all got going on over there. But then again, you actually have a strength coach, and we don't have one of those. But, we're still trying to find one.
Yeah, keep looking. Keep looking. Matter of fact, you can go on the Strength Coach Meet website and maybe find one of your own. Okay, so keep looking, man.
But man, no, your kid's good. I really enjoy watching him play, and I know sometimes he's just so intense and so into the game. You can see he's locked in. You can see he's locked in, and it's amazing to watch him play, man. You're always looking for the highlight reel from him, and I just don't think there's enough said about him, and I don't know anything about his prospects. Maybe you can enlighten us on that.
Yeah, he's getting some traffic right now. I've been talking to some schools. Some of the top junior colleges in the country already want him. They won the committees. I actually been out on some visits to some of the top junior colleges. He's been out to Florida Southwest with one of my kids. Deshaun is playing that right now. So
shout out to DT, man.
Yeah, man, Deshaun Thomas. He's really doing well out there. So, Bam has really got some he got some stuff going, man. But, it was a maturation process with him. But I'm glad it's going well. But when you talk about kids, I really like your guy. Was Kieran Gray. I think he's another 6'7" kid with a high motor. He's had a game where he's had about 32 points and about 15 rebounds. Don't let me short him on the rebounds, Coach, against Sumter. So he's been playing extremely well. And again, I was able to see him play. He was in a tad bit foul trouble against Nation Ford, but every second he was on the floor, he had an impact. So I really, really like your kid from that class, man, because he's been doing a really, really, really good job. Calvin Mathis out at Aiken, combo guard / swing man / slasher out at Aiken High out there with Coach Jackson has been doing a tremendous job also, man. So it's just a ton of talent in South Carolina, and you can look at it on a list and just talk about the guys over and over again, and it'll keep going. But if we look into this 2019 class, this is probably one of the more popular classes, deep classes in the state. If you're going off of that, the next 4 years, and one guy that I've been impressed with early this season, another great kid, great attitude, comes from a great household. Met his mom before, beautiful woman, great lady, is Jawan Gary. I think he's been playing at a very, very high level. I think he's been very efficient. It looks like he's starting to commit to hitting the glass and rebound very hard. He's out there with Coach Dion Bethay out there at Gray, and I've just been really, really impressed with Jawan. He can stroke it, shoot the three, super athletic. We played Gray twice last year, and he was even though Jalik was the alpha dog of that team, you felt Jawan the entire night. And this year he's really stepped up and took a leadership role on that extremely talented team. Like I say, you got guys like Tommy Bruner and things, Mike Marsh on that team. But I've really, really been impressed with Jawan Gary this year. Top 50 guy on the ESPN list, and most lists,
30, right?
top 30, on most lists across the country. And of course, he hasn't decided on where he's going yet, but whoever gets him is going to be getting a really, really good player that could do multiple things on the court. Really good player.
Yeah, and you definitely can't talk about the class of 2019 without talking about Christian Brown. I mean,
For sure.
Such a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Great kid. He's been in the spotlight for 3-4 years now, and I can only imagine how difficult it is to be in the spotlight at that young of age. And I mean, he's what's he ranked 19th in his class, and I mean, I think the ceiling I think Jawan's unbelievable, and he's very skilled and very high basketball IQ, and I think the ceiling for Christian with his athleticism is just the sky's the limit. And
he can be anything he want to be out there.
He's a guy, exactly what you said. He can really be anything you want, and he could be a big time college impact player his freshman year with the amount of athleticism he has. And he's another guy, like we talked about, that's putting South Carolina on the map. And so shout out to Christian for sure.
Yeah, big shout out to the kids. CB. A guy that I'm intrigued in this 2019 class is Deuce Dean out of York Prep. Now last year he was with Dutch Fork, and last year I seen him in the Bojangles Bash. And shout out to Bojangles Bash, such a great class event that happened last week. Saw him out there last year, but this year he's picked up a lot of the point guard duties for York Prep. He's very, very balanced now. Such a great athlete, and a great person as well. Comes from a strong family. Love the kid. But yeah, Deuce Dean over at York Prep this year. He's doing a lot for that team at the point guard position. 6'4" kid. Once again, very balanced. So shout out to Deuce Dean.
What classes was he? Is he 2019 now? Or?
Yeah, Deuce is 2019.
Because they got DJ Burns too.
Yeah. That 2019 class is ape nuts, and him and DJ Burns are on the same team. Another very, very good player out at from Rock Hill, playing on that York Prep, a loaded York Prep squad that we have the honor of playing on Wednesday at the Chick-fil-A Challenge. So shout out to Coach Farmer, the AD at Richard Northeast, for giving us them our first night in the Chick-fil-A Challenge. I'm going to tell you my favorite player in the 2019 class. It's a Skeezer kid. I mean, and I'm a little partial because I was crazy about his sister when she played, and now I'm crazy about him. It's Chico Carter over at Cardinal Newman. He might be my favorite player in this class. I'm not saying he's the most talented, but he is probably my most favorite player because, Chico, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He comes from a very good pedigree of basketball. I mean, his sister played Division I basketball at Furman. Sierra Carter played on those loaded Spring Valley teams from back in the day. Well, I can't call it back in the day. They still babies. They're young. But Chico, man, I just love the grit, the leadership. He plays with. He's probably one of the purest point guards that you're going to see in the state. And this year he's been even more dynamic because he's picked up a much heavier scoring load while still keeping his teammates involved. So shout out to Chico, man, and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, his dad, Chico. Keep doing a great job with him. I'm just really, really, that's probably one of my favorite players, if not my most favorite. I like Deuce Dean a lot too. I love Deuce Dean, but Chico is probably one of my favorite players in that class, just from the edge he plays with. He's very consistent. Again, very respectful young man, great kid. So keep up the great work, Chico. Let me argue about this with you guys right quick, though, because we were talking about him a little bit. Josiah James, what do y'all think about this guy?
I have not seen him.
Listen, Coach E, I'm gonna get that one to you. I want to hear your take on it. That's what I want to hear.
I just want to hear how good the kid is, because I got one more favorite player in the 2019 class.
Well, I think he's a good player. He can stroke it from the outside. He could, of course, put the ball on the floor. He's not as physical as some of the other guards on the list. He gets pushed off a spot sometimes. I think there's some little things that you got to work on. But he's a high level kid. His size, I think he's about 6'5", 6'6". Like I said, it's hard to defend him because he can pull up from 30, like they say like Stephen A. says about Kevin Durant. We had the privilege and good fortune of playing him over the summer at a coastal camp, and he actually hit the game-winning shot from half court. He had a tough game because he was matched up against one of my guys, Trey, and it was a good battle. It was to watch. It was a defensive type of deal. Kid plays pretty good defense. Like I said, you kind of want to see the kid get a little bit more physical, and that's just a little bit of honesty. But the kid is great. Skill wise, he's got all the tools that you want. It's there.
Okay,
definitely.
Let me talk about another one of my favorite players in that 2019 class. I said Chico is my favorite. Maybe I should have said I have a 1A and a 1B. Okay, or a 1A and another 1A. Trey Hannibal. Okay? Yeah. Chico's my favorite. Trey's my favorite also. I can have more than one favorite in that class. Okay? I think Trey Hannibal is also one of my favorites. I love his motor. I think he has elite level or beyond athleticism. I don't know if you noticed. I mean, I'm really big on demeanor. I'm big on attitude. I'm big on disposition. Trey is another kid with an unbelievable attitude, great attitude, sweet kid. I love him for that. So parents keep doing a good job of raising him. But I really, really love the kid, Trey Hannibal, also. His jump shot has developed over the years, because in the 9th and 10th grade, that was the knock on him. He can get to the rack, but he can't shoot it, so play off of him. Now he has a formidable jump shot. You have to respect his pull-up. And then when you play too close, he's a big grown man body kid that's going to put you on his hip. And if you're not careful, you might be on a Famous Los video getting dunked on. Again,
why you do that boy like that?
Why you do that boy like that? Shout out to Famous Los. But I was able to see Trey. I was able to see Trey play Saturday, and again, I was impressed. I just like I like everything about Trey, man. I like his glow. I like his aura. I like his energy. Like I said, he's working on his game because like I said, he has a respectable jump shot. That's gotten a lot better. But though the jump shot's gotten better, that's not his bread and butter. The kid can create and get to the rack basically at will. He almost forces you to go zone. Now, Coach English, I know you don't want to talk about your kid, but he forces you to go zone. He's good. And I watched this dude. Will his team to victory. I watched a very, very good Hartsville team who arguably is not in the top 10 right now. And that gives Coach E and his guys a little boulder on their shoulder to chip and fight a little bit harder. I do think we need – I sincerely believe Hartsville is a top 10 team. I do believe that. But, Trey has it. Seen him throw it off the backboard to himself in the game. A live game.
What I want to say, like the thing that speaks to Trey, and a lot of people don't get a chance to interact with him. Coach Kurtz happened to come down and help work my guys out one day, and without even knowing who Trey was, he was teaching wall squats, and Trey was the only kid that did it right. He pays that much attention, and then he goes, "Okay, that's how you do it, all right." And then he did it to the best of his ability, and then not only that, but then he helped the other kids. Yeah. To teach the other kids how to do it correctly. And I think that that's one of the qualities that he has that people don't have an opportunity to see is that he's a natural born leader. Like, he brings everybody else with him. He doesn't care if he has 20 or if he has 5. He just wants he wants everybody, he wants to win. And he wants to win so bad that he doesn't care what it's going to take. I think he had a triple-double against Sumter, where he had 10 points, 11 assists, 13 rebounds, 7 steals, something crazy like that. And then the reason why he had 11 assists was Karan was killing in the paint, so he just kept giving it to Karan. And Karan had 32, and Karan had the 32 because Trey was giving him the ball. Him and my other point guard, DQ, was just giving him the ball. And, but it starts with Trey because a lot of the knock on him early when I got there was he was a selfish player. But when you got to know him, it was like, yo, I just want to win. And if you guys don't want to win, then shoot, I'll do it myself. And everybody's kind of bought in around that. And that's what makes him special. Now, the dunk yesterday, I like I said off air, I had no clue he was going to do that. I actually thought he was going to.
I'm gonna tell you who did have a clue he was going to do it.
I mean, Trey did, of course. I mean, he faked it like he was throwing the alley to the big man and threw it off the glass to himself.
Vintage Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, like it.
Vintage T-Mac.
I mean, people ran out the gym, but that just went to show his athleticism.
Yeah, if you want to see that dunk, it's up on Twitter now. It's on a couple of feeds on the Phenom. Phenom Hoop Report.
I'm really mad.
How did you miss that?
Listen.
Where were you, in the bathroom?
No, I was fighting traffic.
You was in the gym when Trey threw it off the glass, weren't you? You weren't in there?
Nah.
Man, I thought you was in there, man.
I wish I was, especially after that video.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Phenom Hoop Report for catching that.
Well, I mean, just to go off what Coach English said, like he said, I met Trey, went up there and did a little workout with them for an hour or so, and within 5 minutes, I was pointing at him and asking Coach English, I was like, that guy wants it. And, I mean, you can tell immediately from meeting a guy, meeting a kid, meeting a player, how coachable they are and how hungry they are, and that stood out for him. So definitely always rooting for guys like that. And I mean, I was just talking to one of the Dallas Mavericks player development coaches. Was he had breakfast with us in Dallas this weekend, and he was talking about why the Spurs are so good and they won't take a chance on a guy who is not coachable. And he's like, obviously the NBA has a lot of guys that are not that coachable. Yeah. The Spurs will not take a chance on a guy like that. And, I mean, that's a rare, like we've always talked about with greatness.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to be great. Not everybody wants to be coached. And Trey, I could tell within 3-4 minutes of putting them through a workout that he wants to be coached.
Yeah,
he wants to be great.
I love it, man. I love it. But
shout out to him for sure. Good luck the rest of the season to you.
Except when y'all play against AC Florida.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. January 3rd, like I don't even want to show up. Don't beat me too bad.
Nah, y'all, you guys are a little too good to be talking about. Don't beat us too bad.
Beat me too bad, man. Like,
I'm very that game.
Off, please.
That's going to be a very good game. I will say this. We're gonna bring this thing to a close. It's a ton of really good players, a ton of really good teams we weren't able to talk about, which is a good thing. You know, if your name wasn't called, maybe we're not in one show. We can just talk about all of the guys that are under the radar. You know, the DJ Sinklers of the world. I think Big Kid Dillon from Keenan is under the radar. I think he's a great player who's not getting the offers in the recruitment that he deserves. So it's a ton of guys. We can do another show on that.
Your kid Daniel, like I'm a fan of Daniel.
You're a fan of Daniel?
I am a Daniel Finney fan. Like I'm his fan. Like
yeah,
give me a jersey, I'll put it on.
Similar
I am a fan
real
of
similar
his.
to Trey, man. He wants it. He works hard. He's very coachable. He's going to play at the next level. So guys, don't think. I read a very prominent tweet today. You know, don't be caught up on who's recruiting other people. Focus on who's recruiting you.
Yep.
You know, do the things that you can to get recruited. Everyone's not going to a Power 5. Everyone's not going D1. Everybody's not going D2. But you find the fit, you find the level that's best for you, and you take advantage of it and you run with it, because you can't grow if you don't accept the situation that you're in. Mm-hmm. If you're always worrying about what you don't have, you get no nutrients from what you're actually eating.
You know, and it's funny. I have conversation with my kids every day, and you spoke about Karan Gray earlier today, and UNC Pembroke spoke to him yesterday, and he was very humble, very everything about it, because he doesn't have a lot of on the plate, as far as offers. And I spoke to him. I said, well, how you feel about today? He said, Coach, I'm good. I said, well, boy, you kind of calm. He's, Coach, man, it's gonna come. And he's just, that type of kid, and that just speaks to what you're saying. Stay humble, continue to work, and eventually what's supposed to come to you is supposed to come to you. I mean, we had a conversation weeks ago, and he was like, Coach, I know I'm not going to Duke. I know that. He said, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it everything I got, and hopefully somebody close to that will want to take a chance on me. And that's just to speak to his character. And you know, if more kids have a thought process like that, I think you get a lot more kids doing more.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to accept what you got, what you have. You know, a lot of people don't want that. That doesn't mean you aren't still fighting to grow. That does not mean that.
Right.
But you're going to have to learn to be content with what you have, then fight for what you want. You know, a lot of people don't get to the content part because they're always feeling, well, how does he get, especially in the recruiting game, they're always like, how does he get that, or how are they recruiting him? Nah, don't worry about that, because you don't know what that kid does. And in the recruiting game, you don't know what that college coach likes. He might not have liked the way you tied your shoes or responded to coaching. So you got to really keep your head focused on what you need to do to get better, be grateful for what you have, and keep it moving. But, you know, go ahead, Cam, let you.
And while you're on that under the radar, I just want to throw out one kid out of York, South Carolina, Malcolm Kennedy, 6 foot, 2018 guy, sharp shooter, averaging 20-plus points a game right now.
What school he go to?
York High School. Know a few kids there, but and shout out to him, and also shout out to Cameron Jones, 2018 guy, 6'3", off guard, out of York. These guys are very, very under the radar, so keep a lookout for these guys. They're so humble. They're just out there to get it. Of course, they're not in the best situation.
That's the light skinned kid with the afro.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He was in the elite camp.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the real deal. He can fill it up.
Yeah.
He definitely can fill it up.
Yeah,
that's a legit plug.
Yeah, but shout out to those two guys. Like I said, they're both very humble kids, and they just like both coaches were saying. Just wait on your moment. Be humble for that moment and go for it. Go for it 100%. And all you have to do is, at the end of the day, say, I gave it all I got. So
no doubt.
You guys just go for it.
Yo, so we appreciate K-Lou coming on the show with us today, man. And, we want to do shout-outs and bring this thing to a close. Shout out to all the students at our respective schools that continue to give us retweets, to continue to give us downloads. We really appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the high school coaches, basketball coaches, especially that's grinding and fighting in their season. Stay poised, stick to your course, and keep fighting, man.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to all our listeners every time. I mean, we always mention Coach Harlan, Coach Smith, Coach Purdy. Those guys I know are always commenting and listening, so thanks to all of you for listening. And shout out to all them South Carolina Hoopers that are putting in the work. Awesome to talk about you guys. Keep putting South Carolina on the map. Keep putting yourselves, keep putting your families on the map. Shout out to the Chick-fil-A Classic. If you're anywhere within driving distance of Columbia, South Carolina, that's gonna be something big to come check out this week. And if you guys didn't check your Twitter, I did put a poll out there today during the podcast. Is Coach Staley too hard on Coach English on the podcast?
What does the poll say so far?
So we have 7 votes. We have 4 no comments. 3 that say no, he's not too hard.
Thank you.
And 0 that say you're too hard on him, Coach Staley.
I'm trying to tell you that the guy is too sensitive. He makes stuff out of stuff that doesn't exist, and he wants somebody to just feel bad for him and make me look like the villain. Well, you know what? I'm not the villain.
Coach English, I apologize. I love you, dog, but I mean, like, people have spoke.
Let me defend myself.
Numbers don't lie.
Don't use my words on me. I don't appreciate that.
Numbers don't lie.
I mean, I don't appreciate that. Let me say this. Ever since I have met this man, it has been this type of relationship. But love him to death. That's my brother from another mother. Wouldn't wish to have it with anybody else. Wouldn't wish to do this show with anyone else but the people at this table, man, are great guys. And we laugh and joke all the time. But he is too hard on me. Let me say that. We're going to just bring that back.
No, let's bring the show
full
because you got your mama
circle.
saying I'm too mean to you.
I mean, well, I will say this: my mom has rescinded that statement.
Thank
She
you.
told me to toughen up the other day.
Thank you.
Thank you. She was like, toughen
You
up.
can at least put some drawstrings on your diaper. Dang,
But
what?
you know, to the man, my kids call Uncle Josh. You know, I feel like that should warrant some type
I
of
did see
something.
my Buddha
but
butt
it
at the game. I was actually so excited to see Mir. I was so pleasant to see.
Yeah, Mir was like, Mir said, I said, you want to see Uncle Josh? Oh, yeah, where's Uncle Josh? Then he said, where's Talon J?
Right,
I
he really
was
wanted
like,
to see Talon
he
J.
really
He
wanted to
wasn't
see
really
Talon J.
thinking about me.
He wasn't thinking about Josh.
It was a setup. A setup.
Hey, but can I get some shout outs? And also, make sure to mention your social media so people know how to hit you up.
Absolutely. First and foremost, man, shout out to this amazing team, and thank you for the opportunity. Shout out to Coach English, of course, my mentor, Coach Staley, and Coach Kurtz.
So glad you said Coach English name first. Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
But listen, if you want to reach out to me, just hit me up on Twitter at heavyhandlehoop, and on Instagram at heavy_handle_hoops with an S. But once again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to talk basketball with you all. The podcast is hot. Listen, this podcast is hot. So if you haven't downloaded it, you need to download it for real. And that's coming from someone who loves podcasts. Listen, download the podcast right now. If you haven't downloaded, just do it. Okay? Be like Nike and just do it.
Let's do it, man.
Love it.
Man. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, look, have a great week. You'll be hearing us on Wednesday from Hump Day Motivation.
Hump Day Motivation. Look out for the Hump Day Motivation on Wednesday. That's first and foremost. Next up, you know how to join the conversation. Email us at the Staley and English Show. That's the Staley, AND English Show at gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at the SNE Show. And my people, please vote for me on Coach Kurtz's poll, please.
Well, see what I'm talking about? What kind of man asks to be voted for that he treats me bad? Listen,
I'm out here running for president.
Put a message out there. Tell this man to put a drawstring on his diaper, tighten it up, and let's go.
But man, y'all know how we roll, man. We love our listeners, man. Continue to help us grow. Like we said earlier, over 800 downloads. Continue. We're trying to reach 1,000 before the New Year's. Hopefully we can, and that would be crazy because that means in a 3-month span we've had 1,000 downloads. If we can hit that, that is nuts.
Yeah, man.
Continue to support us. We are so humble by the support. Shouts out to SC Varsity for the love.
Prep Hoops.
Prep Hoops as well.
South Carolina, what is it? South Carolina Preps.
Yeah, South Carolina Preps.
Yeah, South Carolina Preps.
Shouts out to Jamie Shaw and them at the Phenom Hoop Report for yesterday. Shouts out to Coach Combs over there, Ben Lippin. We played in the showcase yesterday, and it was nothing but love from the day Hartsville walked in the door and made sure we was okay. Coach Combs always made sure I had a bottle of water. Coach, man, come. You got a bottle of water? You good?
Next time, give him a bottle.
See,
Coach
I did not say anything to you just now.
I'm just saying what
You jumped in on that. Like, you jumped in with that
I'm
for
just
nothing.
saying what you lead.
Anyway, like we always say, man, keep God first. Everything else will follow. Peace.
God bless. Peace.
Yeah.